Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to today's team brief. It's just gone 12 o'clock. So I've got a few updates to give you, which are displayed on the screen today. And I'm joined by Victoria Kilbride, who's our Deputy Head Lead Nurse from Occupational Health, Rachel Butlin, who's a Diabetes Specialist Nurse, and Mohammed Khan, who's our Organisational Development and Engagement Partner. So we're going to cover three topics later on today on this brief. That's around the flu vaccinations, it's around Hyper Awareness Week, and it's also just a heads up around the staff survey. So we get to that in just a moment. As always, if I just encourage you to use the Q&A button, that'll be really good. That saves you having to listen to my questions, and it's much better to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so if I go on to just the updates that I've got for you. So we're holding our annual finance conference on the 14th of October. That's in the morning between 9 and 12:30. It's in Lecture Theatre 2 down on the Education Centre, but there are limited places, and so you have to book online for that, and you book via the Sherwood Academy. We'll put the link for that into the chat, but the conference is called Recovery, Productivity and Improvement, or that snappy title of RPI, and the idea is to allow people to meet representatives from the various different departments or sub-departments of the finance team, and to actually learn a bit more and to ask any of those tricky questions that they're struggling with. So the financial recovery and working together to deliver savings, or that recovery aspect, that will be presented by Joe Lancaster and Patrick Wilson. In terms of productivity, that's going to be about working to achieve best value and excellence, and talking about the WAVE process. And that will be presented by Craig Short and Greg Sheriston. And then the improvement side of things, that's going to be around the Community Diagnostic Centre and how we work together and to deliver healthcare. And James Thomas and Tom Palmer will present that. So it's free to attend. It's a good opportunity for those people who want to know a bit more about finance. It's a good opportunity to network with our finance team, and hopefully it will be of value to you all. So the link should be in the Q&A to allow you to book on that via the Sherwood Academy. As I say, I'll just remind you of the date. That's the 14th of October 2025, and that's between 9 and 12:30, and it's on the King's Mill Education Centre. The next update I've got for you is our October Coffee and Connect session. So recognising that the NHS is changing, recognising that people like me bang on about the 10-year plan and the triple shift in terms of the hospital to community, analog to digital, and treatment to prevention. And Keir Starmer, I think, is making a speech about mentioning some of that today. So what we've started to hold is these Coffee and Connect sessions, which take place on the first Tuesday of each month, and they give everyone, in effect, patients, service users, carers, family members, and colleagues and staff the opportunity to talk about, to discuss, to give their thoughts on how we can improve our services that we provide at the Trust, and also how we're going to match those desires and aspirations of the 10-year plan going forward. So we've held a few of these. They've been well attended, and it's been a useful session for us to hear what matters to you, what services you'd like to see, and how they should look in the future, and how we can make some of those changes that makes all that difference for you as colleagues who provide the services, but also for our patients. And again, this is the Coffee and Connect is needs you to reserve your place, and we'll put the email in there around that. It's held by the PET team, so we'll put that email into the Q&A, and also a telephone number if that's an easier way to do that. And then the final update I've got is just to remind you all about our wellbeing spaces. So about a year ago now, we invested quite a lot of money in changing some of the areas behind the outpatients clinics, or what we call the fingers, on the Kings Mill area. We also did quite a lot on Newark and the Mansfield community. But in terms of the Kings Mill, behind the Kings Mill clinic, we've got those wellbeing areas. And it's a place for you to rest, to find some space, to perhaps have a conversation. And the space is known as Whispering Willows, Peaceful Pines and Mighty Oaks, and that was a campaign we ran amongst colleagues in the trust to find out what would be the best name. And the Peaceful Pines is the quieter area, a bit like the quiet coach on the train, for those of you who want a bit of a downtime. And they feature some of the artwork that was produced by the students of Vision West Knots as part of the project they did for us. And it's just really to encourage you to use these areas and to remind you that they're there for you to use. And the idea of that is it also then frees up all of those seats in the main atrium for our patients. We quite often get quite a lot of comments, complaints, if you like, that actually all of our staff are occupying those seats in the atrium and there isn't anywhere for patients to grab or relatives to grab a sit down, and they often complain to our volunteers and to our governors. So it's just to remind you to do that. And of course, the final bit of this work was to redevelop the old Delhi Marsh area up on the 6th floor, and that's currently still open but will be closing shortly because we've had the full building's approval for that, and so the building work will start with that. So that space will no longer be available in the shortly. So those are all the updates that I've got. So I'm going to go on to the main topics, and again, just to remind you to perhaps put some questions in the Q&A. And I'm going to go first to Victoria. Victoria, you better introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then talk to us perhaps about flu.
I will indeed. Thank you so much. So yes, hi everyone. I'm Victoria. I'm the Deputy Head and Lead Nurse in Occupational Health and Wellbeing here at the Trust. And it soon sneaks around, doesn't it? It's that time of year again. Where did summer go? Flu season is upon us. And October is the best time of year to get your free flu vaccine at one of our many drop-in clinics, or alternatively, you can have one of our excellent trained peer vaccinators vaccinate you in your own working area. So all Sherwood Forest colleagues, clinical and non-clinical, are eligible to receive their flu vaccine. That also includes our Mediresc and Skanska colleagues, and it also includes all students who are on placement with us here at the Trust as well. So it's worth noting that last winter in England, there were actually over 7,000 deaths from flu alone, with 340,000 bed days taken up with flu patients. And the vaccine is estimated to have prevented between 96,000 and 120,000 people from being hospitalised. The flu vaccine is safe, it's effective, and it's the best way to reduce the transmission of flu. As we all know, flu is really highly contagious, and I really do encourage everyone to be vaccinated if you can. Some people say to me, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm healthy, why on earth do I need to be vaccinated? Well, by being vaccinated, you actually contribute to herd immunity, protecting those who are at a higher risk of complications. That could be the elderly, it could be pregnant people, it could be those with chronic health conditions. And as healthcare workers, we're in constant contact with people with these types of conditions. So being vaccinated really is the right thing to do. So we have two vaccines available here at Sherwood. One is for staff age 16 to 64, and one is for staff age 65 plus. Both the vaccines target 3 strains of flu this year. There's 2 A strains and 1 B strain in the vaccine. And the only difference is the one for staff age 65 plus has an adjuvant added into the vaccine just to help boost the immune system that a little bit more, because as we become more mature, our immune system just needs that little bit of extra help. Side effects from the vaccine are really, really rare, with the most common being just a very slight ache to your arm where the vaccine goes in. This normally only lasts a day or two, and most people don't experience any side effects at all. The vaccine doesn't hurt, and it's over and done within seconds. It's worth emphasising that the flu vaccine cannot give you flu. It's physically impossible. There's no active or live virus in either of the vaccines that we offer to staff. if you do develop flu-like symptoms shortly after being vaccinated, the chances are you are actually probably already brewing some kind of viral infection, and it's just bad timing. And then we associate that with the flu vaccine when actually it's probably got nothing to do with that vaccine. It's worth noting, though, that the flu vaccine does take a couple of weeks to become fully effective in your immune system. So early October is the perfect time to be vaccinated before we really get into the swing of, proper winter. So our flu clinics start tomorrow with the first one in the KTC main walkway, and that's going to be 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We've got flu clinics running for the rest of the week and pretty much every day in October, and all the information on where to find our flu clinics and where we'll be, a list of peer vaccinators and where they're based, can all be found on the flu intranet page, which will be popped in the chat for you. Alternatively, you can just go onto the intranet, go to A to Z, click on F, and you'll see flu vaccinations right near the top. So final point for me before I shut up, all staff who are vaccinated before Christmas are entered into a monthly prize draw. This is a prize draw kindly sponsored by our Unison Dukeries branch, and you could win some high street vouchers, which is really good. And that's for all staff who are vaccinated. In addition to this, and brand new for 2025, all Sherwood Forest staff who are vaccinated before the end of November will be entered into a prize draw to win an extra day of annual leave. And I can hear some imaginary woos going off there. So this is brand new. We've never had this incentive before. It's really exciting. A maximum of 5 people can win. And like I say, you do have to be employed directly by Sherwood Forest to be eligible to win that incentive. So thank you so much for your time. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have relating to flu. And please, please, please do get your flu vaccine this year. It's the best thing you can do to protect yourself, your patients, and your family. Thank you.
Absolutely agree with that, Victoria. I'm due to have mine apparently on Thursday, so that's good. So one of the things, being a sad doctor, I tend to watch what's happening in the Southern Hemisphere in terms of their flu season, because that really mirrors what we're going to see. We saw quite a big flu season, pretty similar to 2022, this last Southern Hemisphere winter. One of the things that happened was the flu season was quite early. So it's good that we're getting the vaccine out. I'm just trying to put a graph in. Again, being a bit sad, I've got the stats from the national data, and we can see that there's already quite an uptick in flu circulating around the country. So I would really encourage you to get that, as you say, to protect yourself, protect our patients, protect your colleagues, but also protect your family from that point of view. And also, we've got a video I think we're showing at Trust Board this coming Thursday, which has got a patient story of someone who was desperately ill with flu. I always tell the story of a patient many years ago, looking in critical care, a young man who was fit and healthy who died in front of me and his family because I couldn't save him from flu, and he was in his early 50s. People think, oh, it's just flu, but actually in some people, for some reason, it can really have that impact. So just remind me of those amazing incentives we got, because that last one is quite exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. And like I say, this is brand new for 2025. So we have our monthly prize draw that's available to all staff who are vaccinated. So it doesn't matter if you're Mediarest, Skanska or Shield Forest or a student. All staff are entered into a monthly prize draw to win some high street vouchers. And that's a monthly prize draw that's drawn at the end of October, November and December. And then just for Sherwood Forest colleagues, we have the chance to win an extra day of annual leave, basically. So if you are vaccinated between now and the end of November, you'll automatically be entered. And I have the lovely job of contacting those individuals who win. But you must be vaccinated before the end of November to be entered into that prize draw. So the sooner you get the vaccine, the better, basically.
And if we get vaccinated at work, that gets updated onto our national flu record and then goes to our GP. So our GP knows that we've had it. What about the other way around? If we have it at the GP, does it come come to us?
Unfortunately not. That would be far too simple, wouldn't it, for that to work for us? So we do rely on staff letting us know if they're vaccinated elsewhere. So there is a link that we can pop in the chat now for staff to complete if you do choose to get vaccinated elsewhere. So if you go to your GP, if you go to a pharmacy, please do still let us know, because every person counts in regards to pulling off our figures and our statistics. So it's an electronic form this year. We've finally got into the 21st century and done a Microsoft Forms, and it takes all of 10 seconds to complete.
Okay, and I think just up until about 3-4 years ago, we were seeing an increase in our uptake year on year, and we got up towards about 80% of colleagues who had their flu vaccine. It dropped off then when everyone got a bit fed up with having COVID vaccines and flu vaccines. There's no NHS staff COVID vaccine autumn booster this year, so it's purely flu. So the only thing you can do to protect yourself is flu. So I would just again really encourage people to have this. There's obviously some unhelpful press at the moment from our colleagues across in America who come out with some dozy comments, but we'll try and skip past what Donald Trump thinks and just remind everyone this is a well-proven vaccination, and actually it's there to protect you. I don't see any Q's and A's.
I think there might just be
hang
one.
on. Hang on. Here's one. Can you clarify if there are any animal products in the vaccines?
No, both vaccines are completely vegan. There's the only flu vaccine that contains some animal product is the nasal vaccine that's offered to children. All the adult vaccines are completely vegan. Yeah.
And then someone's put a comment, I'm not sure if this is serious, saying, looking forward to getting my vaccine to protect myself and others, but also stop flu spoiling the fun I've planned over Halloween and Christmas. There you are.
Definitely. That's a really good comment. I love that one. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we'll see if you get any more questions or comments, Victoria. Thank you so much for that. Coming back then, I'm going to go to Rachel, who's going to, Rachel, you're going to have to introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then you're going to tell us all about Hypos and Hypo Awareness Week.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. So hello, my name's Rachel. I'm one of the diabetes specialist nurses at Shield Forest Hospitals, based at Kingsmill, but we cover all 3 sites. And I'm here today to discuss National Hypo Awareness Week, which starts next week, so week commencing 6th of October. So I'll just go over the basics. So what is Hypo Awareness Week? It's an annual campaign to highlight the risks of hypoglycemia. It brings together registered healthcare professionals from across the UK to share their knowledge and improve practices. So the campaign helps to strengthen our approaches to preventing and caring for hypos and for patients with diabetes in our hospitals. So what are we arranging as a trust? We'll be highlighting awareness of hypoglycemia by being accessible and visible in the KTC for all members of staff and members of the public from 9 in the morning till 1, Monday through till Thursday will be available in the KTC. There'll also be essential e-learning for all health and social care staff available to access with a QR code, which will be circulating next week. It will be on the intranet for staff to scan. So the QR code will take staff to the Cambridge Diabetes Education Programme for the hypo awareness training, which is designed to reduce the risk of harm caused by low glucose levels. We hope to do this by boosting knowledge, confidence and guideline familiarity for staff. There will be a certificate and reflection form provided upon completion. So that's a bit of incentive there. It will go towards your professional development. So why do we need to highlight the importance of hypo awareness in hospital? The National Diabetes Inpatient Safety Audit shown us that 80% of all inpatient harms were related to hypoglycemia. Therefore, by raising awareness of how to identify and treat hypos, We as a trust will be working together to improve the inpatient experience for people living with diabetes. So that's basically it. For any further information or support with how to care for patients with diabetes who do experience hypos in hospital, please come along to the KTC next week, and please do enrol yourselves onto the Cambridge Diabetes Education Programme, the Hypo Awareness module called Spot the Drop for Hypo Awareness Week 2025.
Perfect,
Thank
very
you.
clear. So let me just, for those of us who don't understand diabetes like you do, Rachel, let me just go all the way back. So hypo awareness week relates to hypoglycemia, which means low sugar, and that causes significant harm in our patients, and it is very common in our hospital that patients who we have in our hospital and have diabetes experience. And I think you described it as being the cause of 80% of the harm complications in the national audit. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's right. So when we look at our harms that we acquire in the trust, and near enough every one of these is down to a hypo. So we record hypoglycemia at 2.2 millimoles or below, but a hypo, for anyone that's unsure, is any blood glucose reading 4.0 or below. So we like to say 4 is the floor. So we teach patients this, and also hopefully all the staff will advocate and help pass this information on to patients in hospital. So 4 is the floor. We don't want to go below 4.
Yeah, and not only does it cause patient harm, but it actually prolongs their length of stay significantly in the hospital. So just another few dozy questions from me. So is this only patients who are taking insulin, or is this non-insulin dependent diabetics as well?
So it can be non-insulin dependent diabetics. So oral hyperglycemic agents such as gliclazide and other sulfonylureas, they can cause hypoglycemia as well, especially in elderly patients who may be dehydrated and unwell, like a lot of our patients in the trust are, unfortunately. So every patient with diabetes is at risk. The patients that are on insulin are obviously at more risk. And one of my colleagues, Elaine, she spoke about Insulin Safety Week back in May. So the importance of the timing of insulin. So if staff can get on board with the self-administration part of the diabetes care plan, if the patients are safe to do so, they can administer their own insulin in a timely manner. This will reduce the risk of hypoglycemia in hospital.
Yeah, by and large, if I've got this right, if I'm allowed to say this, the patients are the best people looking after their own diabetes because they know it. The problem is that when they come in and when they're sick, they're not often capable of doing that, and it also throws out their diabetic or their insulin control. But once they're getting on the way to recovery, the sooner you can get them looking after it, the better. Is that a fair comment?
That's definitely right. Yeah. So if the patient's safe to do so, definitely encourage them to maintain their independence with their insulin regime. And it's important to recognise. Sorry, it's important to recognise when patients are self-administering insulin, not to use the safety needles as well. So make sure that you've got the self-administration, the little BD microfine needles. If you do struggle to get access to them, we've got a supply in Clinic 5. Just give one of us a ring and we can come and bring some up.
Right, we might get you to put your contact details in the chat as well, Rachel. I don't see any questions around this. Again, when I was a bit younger, anyone who's diabetic, they always used to have some Lucozade by their bed, just in case they went a bit hypo. Is that all gone? And am I a complete dinosaur with that? We now use soluble glucose.
Yeah, no, we still do have patients with. We've got some cans in the storeroom actually, but it's mainly a hypo stop. Yeah, and the good old orange juice, apple juice. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, really helpful. So just remind me, you're going to be in the KTC next week. Come and see the team to get some information. We'll get your details in there for all things diabetes, and then it's about getting this training on the Cambridge hypo site.
Yeah, that's right.
Great. Okay, perfect. We'll see if any questions come in. Can't see any just at the moment. We'll see if any come in. So I'm going to move us to our final speaker today, Mo. You're going to you better introduce yourself as well, Mo, and you're going to tell us all about the staff survey.
Yep. So thank you for inviting me along. My name is Mohammed. I'm the People Organisation Development and Engagement Lead, and I'm going to be discussing staff survey, which comes around every single year, and it's linked to the flu vaccination because it's always around the same time. So hopefully I should be able to share my screen. So I'm talking about staff survey 2025 because it's just around the corner, which is next week. Just in terms of content that I'm going to cover today, I'm going to discuss why it matters and why everyone's voice within the SFH matters and how it makes a difference. Yep.
Just put it on presentation mode if you can, because it's just,
yeah.
If you can just do that. That's it. Perfect.
Yep. It's working. Perfect. Just give me a second. Yeah. Yeah, so just covering the content today. So why it matters, just having the impact for the NHS and why we do it every single year. Review of the 2024 results, but also some of the feedback that I took on board and some actions that we're going to focus across the trust for the last 6 to 9 months that we had that chance. And then I go through the FAQs about what it looks like this year and how people will get their survey this year. So why it matters, it's an important time of the year, the staff survey years. It's been running for around 20 years now, the staff survey has, and it's a key tool for NHS England to identify, how the workforce is feeling within working for NHS England, but also for us in SFH. It gives the opportunity for colleagues to share their thoughts and feelings about the current experience that they have working here. It tells about the culture and how psychologically safe colleagues feel to speak up and raise concerns. It gives us a free opportunity, anonymous opportunity, and confidential opportunity to provide feedback and make sure that we have representative views from our workforce, but also gives us key indicators in terms of how we can make improvements across the trust going forward. So when I go to different forums and I'll share the presentation, I'll talk to people across the whole trust about why this matters and why it's important. It's because it's your voice. It's an anonymous platform, it's a confidential platform, and it's a free platform for people to share their experience, which not many organizations do, especially if you work in the private sector. Changes implemented on you without any feedback, without any concern, without any reflection. It's just implemented, whereas this approach gives us raw data, gives us some meaningful data to look at what difference we're making, actually what we need to do within SFH to make that difference across our patient, but also about improving lives and what we're doing to make sure the patient experience is great at SFH. This is the response rate that we've gone through over the 5 years. So the blue line's about Sheriford's Hospital. So we peaked at 2021 at 66%. But obviously, we could tell from 2021, we are steadily increasing. And I guess my plea to everyone is make your voice count. I want to hear as many voices. And I think the exec team and everyone across the divisions want to hear as many voices as possible. So when you do get that staff survey, please complete it as soon as possible. It's all about hearing your voice and making a difference at SFH. Our benchmarking group, which is at 122 acute trusts, they sit average around 49%. So we're always aiming a bit higher. So we always get about 11% or 12% more than the average acute trust that we benchmark against. So please, please, please complete the survey. Some of the figures from last year about some of the success stories that we had from the last survey response was, 71% of you did recommend Sherwood as a place to work. 73% would be happy with the standard of care provided to a friend or relative within the trust. 63 colleagues believe we are taking positive action and well-being, and that links into, Victoria coming today and talking about the flu vaccination again, but also we've got the health and wellbeing survey live at the moment, which you have an opportunity to share your perspective on how the health and wellbeing agenda is supporting you and that how we could take care of you within the trust. But also it talks about some of the improvements that we've been talking about throughout the whole year as well, which is, linking to appraisal. So 89% of you said that you had appraisal in the last 12 months. 81% of you have not experienced physical violence or aggression or bullying and harassment. So, some of the work that Leanne Featherstone has done, part of the People Promise work around violence and aggression. around about No Hate Here that we're launching soon, some of the Thinking of Moving conversation. All that work has come from the staff survey information, and that's the feedback that you provided to make sure that we're doing some great work from the feedback that you provide us. Some of the areas to focus that we have from last year, which I've already kind of discussed, was retention. So thinking of moving, interviews are part of our conversations now. So when you have your one-to-ones or praise the conversation, we're thinking about what your next development opportunity is, how we can move you onto your next journey or next steps. We also embedded exit interviews. So whenever someone leaves a trust now, we have an exit interview where everyone's assigned an individual that to speak to, part of the exit interview, and that's fed back to DGMs in terms of anonymity, but also feedback in terms of themes that we're getting across division, across the trust, in terms of areas that we need to make improvements on. We're working on division to make sure right equipment's available when staff need it. I'm part of the celebration recognition group at the moment, so we're looking at what that looks like in terms of celebration recognition. So we changed the long service certificates, we've rearranged the long service events, and now we've got people that have been recognised for Tulip and Daisy attending those, and we've got some other work streams alongside that. So the management handbooks also talks about celebration recognition. We've got the grey text that's been launched recently as well to talk about feedback, to celebrate all the successes that we have every single day as well. We're still working with the care values and making sure that every single decision that we make throughout the trust is linked to the care values, and we're also doing some work around reporting and address unsafe clinical practices. So that's working with divisions to make sure, when an unsafe clinical practice is highlighted, how that's fed back, how that's investigated, and how that's making improvements going forward as well. So that's all the areas that we focused on and still focusing on throughout 2024, 2025, and 2026 as well. Some FAQs for 2025 staff survey. So when does the survey window open? It's going to be Monday the 6th of October. So it's an 8-week window that we got, closing on Friday the 28th of November. Already your service lines and divisions have decided how that will be distributed. So either you'll get a paper-based survey or an online survey. The online survey will be distributed to your ESR email address. So please check what email address you have on ESR. And please, on Monday the 6th of October, please check your junk inbox because it might float into your junk inbox. If you haven't received a survey, check your junk spam. If you haven't done, the staff list is sent off on a cutoff date on the 1st of September. So anyone starting after the 1st of September will not receive a staff survey. And that's just because of turnaround, because we have to send a staff list to our provider, which is Archivia this year, and they have to do all the paperwork behind and all the survey checking process. So we have to have a cutoff date, which is 1st of September. So anyone started after 1st of September will not receive a staff survey this year, but they will get one next year if they're still working with us. If I've deleted my email, what do I do? Reminder emails will be sent. The first email will be sent in the first 2 weeks, and you'll have a pause. After that, you'll get one every single week. So you're going to get 6 email reminders. So my best advice is, when you get it, complete it. In terms of paper base, you'll get first copies in the first week of the paper. You get another one at midway point, and then you get a third reminder, which will be the full survey again, the third one, about 3 or 4 weeks just before the survey closes. If anyone has any difficulties in terms of completing the staff survey, there's a free phone number Archivia provide, which is 0800 783 1775. Even if you need interpreter to support you complete the staff survey, they can help you do that as well. There will be divisional focus weeks again, and these are divisional focus weeks. So your divisions are already working in terms of comms, which will be in the bulletin, all for a comm strategy about what work they've done over the last 6 to 9 months in terms of you said we did. The question that you always get asked is it really confidential? And I honestly say, yes, it is. Archivia create a unique reference number or barcode for each survey. This has nothing in common with the name or staff IDs or identified information, and it's never shared with SFH. So all we get is a RAG report that tells us this service line and these are the response rates for that service line. Now, if you have a response rate below 10 in your team, none of that data is shared with us. It's moved up to the locality above. So anyone that in their team has a response rate of less than 10 will not get any information back for the staff survey. How do you send reminders when the survey is meant to be anonymous? So everyone has a unique reference number, so you can't complete each of the survey. But from that, Archivia automatically send out reminders. So once you complete it, it's already automatically ticked off on the system that you completed the survey. So that's how the reminder system works. So that's how Akivia knows who's completed it because everyone has a unique reference number, and that's how they automatically send out reminders. What's different from last year's survey? So in this survey this year, there is some introduction to socio-economical background questions, and this is only on the online survey questionnaire as well. So there's some socio-economical questions which will ask you questions around when you were 14, what were you doing, were you working anywhere, were your parents working anywhere, and this is for NHS England to identify and to support them with what workforce we've got working within the NHS, and that's linked to recruitment now as well. So when you come through the recruitment process as well, they will ask you these socio-economical questions also, and that's to build a better picture of what the workforce that we have within the NHS. The other question that I get asked a lot is, does the survey actually matter? Yes, it does. I get challenged by Dave every single quarter in terms of what we're doing with the staff survey information, and your divisions have to report on a quarterly basis some of the actions that they've taken with the staff survey. So everything does have assurance and governance process around it, and we do take the staff survey information very highly in this trust. And the exec members do challenge all divisions to make sure that they do have a thorough plan in place and they have to account as well. So please, do you complete it? If you are searching for the staff survey, just search in your inbox staff survey 2025 and it should find it. It's the email address that's registered on ESR. It is from a company called Akivia, and they provide around about 70 or 80 different acute trusts that they support with the staff survey as well. All paper copies will be delivered to SFH unless you're on long-term sick or maternity leave, where they'll be delivered to your home address. So only people who are on long-term sick or maternity leave will get it at home. Otherwise, it'll be a paper copy at work or via email. You'll receive the staff survey. And then I'm just going to leave it to any questions that anybody has. I will be doing road shows and walkarounds throughout the staff survey live period as well to support any colleagues with any questions or answers that they need. But also I will be attending Leaders Forum as well, if any leaders are coming along. There is a dedicated website intranet page for the staff survey as well, if anyone got any queries or has any questions that they need to be answered.
Wow. Huge amount of information there. Huge amount. So we've got one question in the chat which is around, does everyone get a staff survey? I think you've answered this. So yeah. I've written down that you've got to be in post on the 1st of September 2025 and you'll get a staff survey. If you're in post after the 1st of September, for the logistical reasons that you described, you won't get that, but you will next year. So I think we've answered that one. Yeah. For me, so you're right, I do nag you about this. For me, the important thing is it gives all of you, our colleagues, our staff, it gives you a voice. I can only fix what I know about, and so it gives you that voice to help us. Now you might say, well, it takes forever to do that, but I mean, some of those examples you gave of the work that we've done were really powerful in terms of, a little bit of listening, a little bit of you said and we've did. So that's really helpful to hear all those. I think for me as a chief executive, the other thing about this staff survey is there is a strong and statistically proven correlation between a high engagement score and a quality organisation. So for me, as the chief exec, it's a surrogate marker about where is Sherwood as a quality organisation. And if that engagement level is going up, that suggests to me that in terms of the quality of the care, if you like, that we're providing for our patients is going up. So that's one of the reasons I'm really focused on it. And those, there's sort of 3 or 4 really big questions. Would you recommend Sherwood as a place to work? Would you be happy for your family and relatives to get care here? Those sort of ones are really important, I think. The other bits I've written down here, and I think you've maxed out on this, it's confidential. We can't track you. We can't identify the answers to any individuals. There is a reminder, but that's done on a unique identifier that we have no access to, and it just does it automatically. So it is a confidential, it is the ability to do that. I think you've also said that it allows us to target those areas and also to track improvement or do more. The one when you started speaking, I put down here bullying and harassment, because that has strongly featured in our people strategy, our refresh people strategy. And then the other bits I've got here is there's some new questions this year around social economic background. It comes from, doesn't come from Picker now, it comes from this other company. What are they called?
IQVIA, yeah.
IQVIA,
yep.
But if you haven't got it on Monday and you were in post before the 1st of September, check your spam box, because it'll be in there. It goes where it goes. We can't control that, but it's because it's a global send, it's quite likely it'll go to your spam folder. But it opens next Monday, and we will keep giving reminders around that. I was going to ask, my final question for you is, which division came top last year?
Oh, it was surgery that had the highest response rate. They had the most voices than ever before they did. Yeah, they had a really high uptake. But, women children's had a massive increase as well. I think they were at like 40% last year, and they had a massive 60% the following year. So, there's drive there will be competition, I would say, from divisions to make sure they have as many voices completed this year.
All right, so I'm going to I can't see any extra questions. I've got a plug here for I've allowed to come in for something completely different, which is around World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October, and that's to wear something green. That's in the chat, and we'll make sure that goes into the. I forgot to mention Liv. We've got the lovely Liv on the decks behind us, but we'll make sure that we put that into the bulletin that goes out on Thursday, Liv, to just highlight that. So 3 really important topics today. Obviously, the flu campaign opening, the staff survey, and then Hypo Awareness Week. Really important. Any final comments, Victoria? Anything final from you?
No, I don't think so. Just look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at the upcoming flu clinics. And if anyone does have any individual queries that they want to talk to someone about in relation to flu, then please do get in touch with any of us in occupational health, and we'll go through those individual queries or worries with you.
Brilliant. Rachel, anything final on the Hypo Awareness Week?
So I've just put in the chat our contact details for any staff that need to ask us any questions regarding Hypo Awareness Week, but we will be available in the KTC Monday through till Thursday, 9 till 1 next week.
Brilliant. And then Mohammed, anything final on the staff survey? We're going to share those slides, presumably.
Yeah, just make your voice count. That's all I'll say to people.
Yeah.
So
it's
a free platform to share your experience. So why not share it?
Thank you all so much. Thank you for your attention. I had to go into Nottingham for a meeting earlier today. It's Goose Fair is all set up. Seems a bit early to me, but Goose Fair's there. So if you're going, stay safe on the forest. Have a good rest of the week. Thanks, everyone.